Not too bad. Okay. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Okay. First, we have approval of the agenda. If there's any changes or.
There's one addition.
Oh, yeah, one addition. Sorry, Chris added something. Cash transfer to pay back a temporary loan from January 2026, the Cume Cap to the Capital Project Fund.
Make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition.
All right, Brad makes a motion to approve with the addition.
I'll second that.
Second by David. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion passes. All right. Next, we have public comment, and we have Joan Hess, County Clerk for the Clerk's Office. Can you start your 4 minutes? Thank you. I don't know what, I can't see her. Sorry, I can see you. It's the computer's in the way. I'll scoot over here.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. I am coming here because I am frustrated and dismayed. I have been denied 2 months in a row of being on the agenda to ask for the ability to refill a position in our office. And we need it badly, especially this time of year when people are wanting to take vacations, which they've earned, which they are entitled to. But we have to have 2 people in our office at all times because of the amount of cash that we handle in that office. So it makes it quite difficult. And I know your reasonings, but respectfully, if we have a lawsuit filed against us, more than likely will go to insurance and will not come out of the general fund. So we need to fill this position. And I just need somebody to explain to me why we can't.
So, does anybody have anything to say or?
Essentially, at this point in time, we've got an executive session to talk about this issue coming up on June 1.
Not to talk about filling this position.
About the issues associated with filling this position and how it's going to be resolved. And at any point in time after that, we have a special meeting to address this issue because it is something that was, the melee that was the primary election is going to be really quite a mess for you.
I put in a lot of hours, which was fine. We ran a successful election and everything went fine. Can I have your word that you would be willing to have a special meeting so that we can get this taken care of?
I don't think at this point in time, until we hear from our lawyers on June 1, that we can make that. Give you our word, because I don't know what the
Can you give me
outcome.
your word that if things progress in the way that you feel like we could do it, that you wouldn't wait another month, is what I'm saying. If we feel like after Monday's meeting that we could fill this position, would you have a special meeting to address that? Or do I have to wait another month?
I would be open to that.
We could have a special meeting with a 48-hour notice. But
I'm
we need,
asking, are you willing to do that?
I'm willing to have a special meeting for almost anything. But as you know, we were presented in a public meeting with a threat to litigate against the county.
Yes.
And we got written documentation of that. It was on record in a public meeting. And that is why the first 30 days went by. The next 30 days is because we hadn't heard anything. And I talked to our council attorney and I asked him what an ample time frame is. I think I explained this at the last meeting, but you weren't there. What an ample time frame would be. And he said 60 days would be enough time for someone when they say they're going to do something that would give them enough time to either do it or maybe they're not gonna do it. So if we waited 60 days, that would be an ample amount of time. So that's why it didn't happen last month.
Right.
In between last month and now, we got a demand letter and we are under pending litigation. So exactly what we were told was gonna happen, happened. So I think we made the right choice by waiting and seeing what was gonna happen here, because any way, shape, or form, this is gonna cost the county money. Whether we have to hire attorneys, whether we have to pay somebody out, whether we have to back pay somebody, there's a lot of situations. And so we are here to be good stewards of the tax dollars and to try to watch that and manage that. And we just have to, it's nothing against you, Ms. Joan. It's strictly, we have to
And
see.
so I'm trying to be a good steward.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're not. I'm just
Dying.
trying to explain from my standpoint, because I don't speak for the rest of the folks here. They can talk for themselves. But from my standpoint as council president who sets the agenda, after speaking with our council attorney, that's what I felt was the right thing to do. So,
Okay.
If appropriate, I would be very amenable to having a special meeting. If appropriate, given the information that's
I
provided
hear
by
what
the.
you're saying, I hear what you're saying.
and we can't guarantee in a special meeting the outcome of it, of course, but we can always consider it.
But if you would be willing, so that we
Sure.
don't have to, if,
As soon as possible.
Yeah.
because we are,
As long as we have a 48-hour notice, it's no problem. But we really need to just get some kind of clarification on what's the next step. And I understand what you're saying about the insurance, it could go to that, but we don't know. Still at this point, we're unsure what's gonna happen. So,
well, from what I've been advised, because I've talked to several attorneys and I've talked to people at the state level, that this will not come out of the general fund.
well, we'll find out, I guess. Please hold the applause while we're talking. So there is, again, no guarantee of that. There is a risk of this costing money from our budget in some way, shape, or form, so at this time. But yes, to your point, if you want a commitment from me that we can have a meeting within 48 hours, when appropriate, when we feel like we have all the answers that we need from our attorney or whatever, we can certainly do that. So,
Because I really don't want to wait another month, because that's 2 months, really, by the time we.
And you've got work
advertise and try to get
and
some-
homework you've got to be doing already for
Yes.
the election. That's exactly.
So, okay, thank you for your time.
no more? All right, next are the minutes from April 23rd. We'll do them one at a time. I think that's what you want, right, Chris? Yes. You might have any comments or changes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
We'll make a motion to approve the meetings for, or the minutes from the meeting for 4/23.
All right, Brad makes a motion.
I'll second it.
Second by Paul. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion passes. Next are the minutes from 4/24. Any changes or additions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Motion made by David,
I'll second.
second by Gail. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays?
Abstain.
Okay. Motion passes with one abstention. 401. Yeah, 501, sorry. And the last one is May 13th. The minutes from May 13th. I'll entertain a motion to approve if there's no changes.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Gail,
I'll second that.
second by David. All in favor, say aye.
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 I'll abstain from that one.
Okay. 501. All right, next, Amanda Hinton, public health nurse, request to fill vacancy.
I sent you guys the email we received, her registrar, I think that is the proper position title. Her last day was May 15th. So she's requesting that she has to be added onto the council agenda meeting. That's all the information I have.
I talked to Amanda today. I'm going to request to table this at this time. We're going to get together. I'm on the president of the health board. We're going to look at job descriptions before we come forward. So we'll probably be requesting a special meeting as well.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to table this item.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Corey, second by Brad. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion passes. Okay. Is that what you?
The first thing we have is a cash transfer to pay back the temporary loan that we did in January. At the beginning of the year, just to kind of give some history on that, we typically have to, in the past, have had to do some temporary loans to some of our funds due to the expenses that are all due at the beginning of the year that it does not have the cash reserve. We have worked over the years to build up the cash reserves. Looking back in previous years, we used to have to do between $600,000 and $800,000 worth of loans. Last year we did 200,000, and this year we did about 100,000. So definitely working to build up those reserves so we don't have to do that. But we did process spring settlement. When we do a temporary loan, the rule with the temporary loan is that it has to be paid back within the year that you borrowed it. We typically try to pay them back with spring settlement because that's really the only thing that's holding us back is that we have a lot of bills due at the beginning of the year and we don't get our spring settlement until May or June. So spring settlement was submitted to the state on Tuesday, and we got approval yesterday. We were the 11th county to submit and get approval out of 92. I just want to give a shout out to the offices that did work to do that because it is a lot of work and trying to get that done quickly. But we're ready to want to go ahead and get this paid back to the capital projects so we don't forget about it.
Anybody have any questions or discussion?
Make a motion to approve the transfer.
Motion made by Corey to approve,
I'll second.
second by Brad. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion passes.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have some dormant funds that were deemed dormant in January. Back in October, we were really looking at funds, trying to figure out, how we could take some relief off the general. When I started here, there was actually 16 negative funds. So I think that we had a lot of funds that, and a lot of those were, in researching, were grants that new grants were set up and we thought old stuff was paid out of the other one and did a lot of cleanup with those. I know that I worked with the sheriff's department and the health department on those. We got those all cleaned up in 23. So this brings us to October when we were looking at, funds, and primarily Mr. Harth down here that had said, hey, what about these funds? And got to looking. So the first one was labeled as FSSA Health Grant Fund. And information that we got from Judge Goffinet, this is actually not a grant, even though it's set up in the system labeled FSSA Grant Fund. So when we went to look for grant paperwork on it, we didn't have anything. And that's where I was saying we don't have any grant paperwork. But in the information we got from Judge Lucy Goffinet, this is stated as a community corrections. This is the community corrections for mental health and drug prevention. So this account had only been dormant since 23. So it was right on the verge when Tracy reached out to me about this. And actually talked to Kelly Wilkes in my office about it. And I'm like, well, that's right on the verge. We'll get the paperwork. And at this point, I still thought it was a grant. And so we had said, get the paperwork to us.
It is a grant. The FSSA loan is a grant. That is grant.
Okay.
The Tracy Stanford, she submits paperwork monthly.
We get the paperwork where it's coming from the state, but we don't have that's what we're waiting on. And that's what I emailed The only thing, we don't have a grant file on this with like what the guidelines of paying out on and all that. So I didn't know if this was based off of an IC code or, because this is, all we have is a, huh?
Basically, we just like,
Yep.
she gave you that whenever we got through super grants.
This is what Lisa gave me. That Lisa takes care of all of the receipting.
And it's easy to fix.
Yeah, we're good. That's why I got on here to transfer. So I just wanted, this one was right there. So it was, when she called me on it, I was like, it's right on the verge of it. So of being dormant. And she said it was still active. So I was like, well, we could do this as a correction of error. Because if it's still active and it's not dormant, then it doesn't meet the dormant criteria. So we went ahead and reactivated and did this one.
So we don't have to actually take action on it.
I planned to bring it to you guys. I just went ahead and did it as a correction of error because it was right on the dormant status. And when she said it was still active, I said, okay, as long as it's still active, we just hadn't had any activity on it since 23. So 2 years is the dormant period on
So
that.
essentially, the action that you're looking for is for us to essentially
Transfer all these
approve
back.
the.
Well, transfer this one back for sure, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I transfer this back as a correction of error because based on the information from the community corrections director, this is still active. So it has already been transferred.
Yeah.
So it is a correction of error. The reason it was done is because we were looking for grant paperwork.
Mhm.
And we thought it just was an old grant. And a lot of these grants are paid for out of the general fund and then they end up getting reimbursed and it wasn't an act, it's not something we had paperwork on. Oversight, mistake. I do wish, a lot of times when I feel like things like this happen, I like to look and see, okay, how could we have handled this better? How could I have handled this better? I do wish we were looking more so as this being a health grant, considering the fact it said FSSA Health. We did contact the health department regarding this fund. They didn't know what it was. I feel like I should have sent out a mass email with all of the dormant accounts to all of the direct department heads and said, hey, I'm getting ready to take, explain everything that's happened. This is getting ready to go to the council to deem these dormant. Please make sure these funds are. So, that's just in reviewing and, thinking how could this have done better. There was a lot of personal reach out, but more so just to who we thought it was in regards to. So, but this one has already been transferred back as a correction of error. And if you guys are okay with that, we can move forward on that one.
So you want us to vote on that one?
Yes, please.
specifically?
Make the motion to essentially approve the transfer back of the transfer made in error.
Motion made by Brad,
I'll second that.
second by Paul. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion passed. On the next one.
The next one is transferring from the general fund back to Fund 1123. It's a community transition program. Judge Lucy supplied Indiana code on this account, or on this fund, on this fund. The reason this was deemed dormant, there's not been any activity since 2019, but based on these Indiana codes, this has purposes for what it can be used for and says it cannot be transferred to general.
Should this one have been labeled as a non-reverting fund?
If it would have been labeled as a non-reverting, yes.
Can we
Yes.
make sure that
Yes.
is?
And we've made notes on all these. That's where, you have to understand too, there's transition in the auditor's office and, not all the information is always there. We would like to have information on all of our grant files. We know what all of they are, because we have to submit all these on our annual financial report. So, yes. we're
Given the
good.
documentation
Given the
that I read
documentation.
from the judge, totally appropriate
Absolutely.
so I'll make a motion to essentially return this to the non-reverting fund.
Motion made by Brad,
I'll second that.
second by David. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
The next one is another dormant fund that Judge Lucy's requesting us to look at. It was Fund 2200, the Alternative Dispute Resolution. This money was collected directly from court costs and is used to pay for medication for low income. And the state specifically determines how these funds are utilized.
I think it's.
Am I on the right one? 2200? Yeah.
2,200.
Yeah.
So is this one also
Yes.
non-reverting?
Yes, it needs to be labeled non-reverting.
I'll make a
Does this have
motion.
an ordinance? Did you
This
find
is
one?
not a home rule. It's not a home rule. 4426 is a home rule, so there will not be an ordinance with the alternative dispute. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's for mediation, not for medication. And there's
Mediation.
always- There's specifically, it was in that letter that I
Yeah.
provided
Mhm.
to you guys from,
Oh, this is the medication one, sorry.
Yeah,
The other
from,
one.
you had missed.
General Counsel with the Supreme Court, Joseph Fisher, and he listed what the fund can be used for. We'd like to use it for more things, but the statute clearly says what it can and cannot be used for.
Mhm.
And same with that community transition program. It's statute driven on what it can and cannot be used for.
So we're gonna put non-reverting in the front of each of these where we know that it's
So in the future, it's not even considered.
not
to
even
be-
considered to be dormant. Yep.
Motion to approve
Probably need to look at all of them.
from general to dispute.
All right, motion made by Corey to approve,
Seconded.
second by Brad. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion passes.
The next one
This
is
is
the medication one, I'm sorry. From the general fund to home detention fund. Based on the information from Judge Goffnett, this fund was created by the council to cover the cost of electronic home detention for defendants who cannot post bond but have serious health concerns. So this is a home rule fund. We looked to see if we could find an ordinance on this, and we could not. We dug
It
and dug.
was, so, it was put into place, we had an individual who was charged, I would say was a level 1 felony, had serious medical issues. To get the individual out of jail, to keep the community safe, the individual was put on electronic home monitoring. Because the individual was deemed indigent, the county had to pay for that, and so instead of the county getting hit with these fees, the council at the time, David, you would have been on the council at the time, set this up and Chief Dickinson could back me up here, and Dave was working at the jail at the time there too. We set up this fund, so if this happened, the money was available. It doesn't have to be available, you guys can do whatever you want with this money, but that was the background with this money, is so that it cost you less to put someone on electronic home monitoring than it did to pay the medical bills while that person was incarcerated. So that's up to you guys on how you want to do that, but that was the background and the history of that fund.
You know when that was?
It had to be, I want to say that it was 2020.
So
Yeah,
my question is, if we don't have an ordinance, or if we can't find an ordinance, we'll either have to create a new ordinance to try to establish exactly what you just said, because funds are supposed to have ordinances, or we can let it go back or stay in general fund, and then if on a case-by-case basis, when that happens, you can bring that to us. So,
as you can tell, it's not something that comes up often, but
Yeah.
it's nice to have that there so that the money was available for if it happened. And
Yeah.
that was thought process, that if we need this money, it's there. So,
I like being
Was it only used
intentional.
one time?
Huh?
One-time use only?
no, we've also used it for juveniles with the same situation that, again, I know this was in 2020. We had a juvenile that they weren't really accepting because of the pandemic into a facility, and so we were able to place them on the electronic home monitoring. They were indigent, they wouldn't have been able to pay. We used it for juveniles, we used it instead of actually placing juveniles in a facility, we used it instead of the county incurring those costs. And so it's literally a case-by-case basis. It's not a, and then to follow up on that too, because the fund was established whenever someone went to pay back the county for the cost of the detention, we automatically do that fund.
So it's non-reverting.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah.
So,
I like it.
but that is totally up to you guys. If you want it to be on a case-by-case basis and we submit a claim, we can do that. Again, the council at the time wanted money set up. They just wanted it to be there. And it was I think we started, again, David, you could jump in, or Eric, or Brandy, because you used it for juveniles too. I want to say it started with 15,000. It wasn't very, I mean, in the whole scheme of things, I mean, 15,000 is a lot of money, but in the whole scheme of things, it wasn't like they poured a bunch of money into that. But that is, there's no statute driving that. I don't know if there was an ordinance. I really don't know. I just know that was the intent. We were trying to cut the bigger cost of insurance and housing of juveniles during the pandemic.
So what do you
Were you
guys,
here in 2020?
what do you think?
You know what the average monthly cost is for monitoring?
Randy,
Ish.
this is why she's here.
Well, I don't do monitoring.
Isn't it a $75 hookup, and then it's like,
100 and something a week.
It's about 70.
Yeah, but it's like 100 and something a week, and then.
Yeah, I mean, even home rule funds, unless the ordinance states what it can be used for.
No, that's true. That makes it easier to access if they need it, like right now.
So
we
like,
don't have to
what we're
wait.
saying is like, she's asked if it'd have to be appropriated. If we had an ordinance that stated like what it could be used for, then it's based on those criteria. You don't have to come to the council and ask for an appropriation to spend it. So, but we looked through all of Data Pit Stop and even pulled the binders out and went back, because I thought for some reason, I had in my mind you had said something from 2006. So we even went back to
2006 was when the ADR fund.
There you we went back to 2006 looking for this ordinance, but we have come to find out a lot of home rule funds were set up without ordinances
We need to get
before.
them.
And we're cleaning them up as we get them.
Yeah, because the whole intent is that you pull that out and it says, here's what it can be used for, and then you
Yeah.
just use it for those purposes.
And I will say with juveniles right now, it's hard to get them in the facility. We have to detain, and the sheriff's department has to transport, and it's usually like 3 hours away. So we try to use the house arrest for an alternative instead of that, and it also costs the county $249 a day instead of the weekly.
I love the idea of the fund. We
Yeah.
need to clean up and get an
To be
ordinance
intentional, I think it's
Yeah.
good.
to be a little, to be intentional, exactly.
If I may.
Yeah.
The important thing is too about this is, not to say it case by case as far as having to come back to you all or
That's
do that, is to have the funds there, because invariably these things happen on a Friday night and on a weekend, or the medical issues kind of spring up, and those can be an emergency issue. And the judge is quite right, as being working over in the jail when I was there with Lee and before that, and then now since then. Yes, and we're using, I think, sound judgment when we're looking at the totality of things, which is, what is it we're looking at? And as the judge said, we're concerned about also about the community and the safety of the community and what's best for these people as far as what plays into this. And yes, by the time, I know a lot of people sit here and think they're in jail, they should have to pay for certain things. And I would say I agree with that, but by them being in jail, by the very nature of certain things that went on, they become indigent. They don't have the resources and certain governmental resources that are out there for them. When we let those agencies know they're in the jail, then they're not able to get to those funds. And so some things kick in when we sit here and say, all right, let's go to house arrest, let's go to electronic monitoring. Let's look at transporting you to this facility that would be this at this price to to save the overall cost.
I think if you said this is 2020, I'm gonna go back and look at minutes and see if I can find
I
something
wanna
in
say
minutes.
If it's 2020, I'm gonna look through minutes too.
Yeah.
I'll look through
Yeah.
minutes.
I
Something.
believe that that's when it was.
Or around that time, you thinking?
We can search by keyword, it's fine.
Keyword on minutes, we can get ordinance.
I just know that we had, an individual that had, very serious charges and was very sick in our jail. And this was the idea that the council had. They wanted to have money in this fund so that they were prepared for situations like this.
I'm in favor of it. I think it's good to be intentional and have it readily available if you need it, like you said, whether it's a Friday or a weekend, or we don't have to wait 48 hours to make an approval.
I
And
mean,
Or
if you
post
still
the
have the
additional,
same-
actually more than that.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole thing too with these funds like that, like with the council only, we have to advertise additional appropriations 10 days and, if you gotta get a special meeting or wait till the next meeting, like we had to with Popper where we got
Just
that
put it
ready
back.
available.
I'd like to just put it back, but I don't know.
Why don't
What
we-
else think?
I'll research
And we can
meeting
come up with it.
minutes and pull that, and then I'll get with Judge Goffman, Lucy, and we can get the information to put together an
Create an
ordinance.
ordinance, yeah.
Does that sound good?
I mean, even just based on what you just said, we can draft one and then,
So this is kind of like a rainy day fund
That's
that
100% what it was. It was a,
specific to
that's
that.
why it doesn't always get touched, because if we think that someone can reimburse or that someone, has the ability to work once they're out, then they do start reimbursing the county. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Goes right back in
it's-
there.
It's literally for, like the individual I was saying, they were very ill, they could not work, but yet we did not feel comfortable with just releasing them from jail with no conditions.
I'll entertain a motion on this. What do
I'm
we
gonna
do?
make a motion to table this until we get an ordinance in front of us.
Okay, we can do that. And then we'll just bring it back up, and once we have an ordinance, we can,
Approve the ordinance and.
yeah, and we'll send it to you for you to look it over and make sure it's the intent of what this was.
Remember right, I believe this was it was something that, I wanna say the sheriff actually presented to you guys.
Okay, Well, look.
Not you guys, obviously, but the council at the time,
That's fair, yeah.
because of medical costs. So if you want to include, Sheriff
Okay.
Word on that
Sure.
as well, that would be helpful.
no
With the
problem.
intention of reestablishing, yes.
If we can't find one by a keyword search, we'll draft a new one,
Okay,
take care of this at that time.
that sounds good.
Is that okay? Corey made a motion to table,
I'll second that.
second by David. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion passes.
And
Thank you.
again, for the act that we went through, these funds that were listed during budget time, was that there were lots of lines, small amounts, where monies were not being utilized, hadn't been utilized for a couple of years. We looked into it in certain instances that other than what we're talking about here. The county, if we find a dormant fund that is not being utilized, it can revert back to the general fund and such. And this was an act of essentially pulling monies that were not being used back into the general fund for purposes during budget time. Now, there were errors, obviously, we're talking about them here tonight, but it also will help us in the future cleaning up, putting ordinances with these funds so that we can address those issues on a case basis going forward. There was no intent to take money from organizations or departments.
I did bring you, I didn't make enough for everybody, I apologize. This is just a little, from the Department of Corrections. That's on the link that was submitted by, I think his name is Joseph Henry from the Department of Corrections. But it talks about the CCP money, and that was a fund that, by the way, was, when I talked to Ms. Fisher about it, that fund was in existence before she even started with the county. And she started with the county in 2004. So if you're looking for actual start date on that, it needs to start prior to 2004. But
Well,
it also tells you that that money is controlled by the, Community Corrections Advisory Board. And Mr. Brockman sits on that board, and I know he's new, on that board, but that would give you some more information about that money, the fund that it's, that needs, the commingling, what can actually happen if you guys want to make copies or click on the link that was provided.
It's good, thank you.
Okay.
Somehow we just need to mark those so that if there's a way in your
Well, I think
system
now
so
you
that,
know, and we
you know,
just,
that's a state statute. We don't mess with that.
Pretty much anything that has to do with community corrections, that's why we have to go through the commissioners to apply for the grant. Then there's an advisory board that's created. As you know, you've appointed Mr. Brockman on the board. Ms. Thorne is the commissioner who sits on the board. All of that money is controlled by that advisory board. So, and we're audited by the state, but it's anything that you see that is, what are we, 0320, I think it is.
232.
Okay. Anything that you've got that and it's got any kind of,
See-
anything, just assume it's community corrections.
We've labeled these now with the department. They didn't have a department in there. That's why we didn't. And with all of our new grants and everything, we utilize fill everything in there in our LAO where we put the department head and who it belongs to and everything. And a lot of these didn't have, older funds just didn't have that information in there.
And I think by under that statute that it's even that CTP fund has that label of the 1122 across every county in the state of Virginia.
Okay.
If that helps.
I would just file that also with them.
Which, are you talking, is that the, which
That's
one?
the CTP.
Okay. Which it's 1123?
Well, there's 1123, that follows it. There's project income money, there's money that we get from the state, that CTP is money, and that's another reason, again, it's very specific, that's for individuals who are coming out of, from DOC early. And, it's for their supervision.
Okay, thank you. I'll make sure all these are noted in there properly.
And if you have a file on it, just put this, what we got from Bruce Henry, and, all that stuff will be helpful. That way, yeah, they have it in the future too. So, thank you. I think
Yes,
so,
sir.
yeah. Thank you. Good luck at your game.
Thanks.
So now we've got additional appropriations. The first one is a request for the general fund from the clerk's office for office supplies in the amount of $500. Explanation, which I sent you guys, says we still have 8 months in 2026, and this account has been depleted, and this was submitted to April 20th.
Ms. Joan, was this some of the stuff that you had to buy also for like election stuff, or is this just,
We tried to, anything that I bought for elections went to the election.
okay, you try to keep it
But
separate?
it's just because of constraints and everybody across the
Yeah.
board had to cut in half.
Mhm.
There was just a lot of stuff that last year I tried to conserve money and it caught up to us. And
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Joan?
Bound to happen.
Huh?
No.
No?
We cut these funds so dramatically to get their budget under control. Yeah, it's a shame, but yeah. I think it's appropriate that we.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Brad,
Second.
second by Gail. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
The next is an additional appropriation for the Community Crossings Fund for the Highway Department for county road improvement. This is just appropriating the money, $783,988.
Anybody have anything for Steve? No, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Paul,
I'll second it.
second by David. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The next one is an additional appropriation in the amount of $400,000 for bituminous out of MVHR, motor vehicle highway restricted.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Brad,
I'll second it.
second by Paul. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Pass.
I had one other thing,
Oh. Yeah, sorry.
that wasn't on the agenda.
Okay.
Didn't get on there.
Okay,
I had another employee quit,
okay.
and I just wanted to get your permission to advertise for another
What?
operator.
Operator, okay.
So that's gonna put us at how many for what?
Okay.
So I can make sure they're up to date.
Truck drivers for operator.
Are you getting applications?
We had two actually quit, and we hired one,
Okay,
and I got another guy that's supposed to let me know next week. He sounds real promising.
did I see this on Indeed now?
We always put on Indeed.
We used to not be.
We've always.
For a while, it was not on Indeed.
I actually,
And then it all of a sudden showed up, and I thought that's a good thing, because a lot of people look
we're
there.
posting on Indeed.
Are there any other areas that you could advertise on?
Okay, so this is really odd that you guys say this, and this is not on the agenda, but
I'm just curious.
Kelly and I, Wilgus and I, have had two webinars or conference calls, webinars with this company called NeoGov. NeoGov actually helps with onboarding, offboarding, HR, but also applications. The thing that we were looking at, of course, there's so many puzzles and different packages you can get. What we were more so interested was the one part, which I'll touch on, was the application part. And it has, there is actually a government website where, people go primarily for government jobs. And then with a push of a button, it'll also go to Indeed, ZipRecruiter, stuff like that, package price. So we were just looking at that. I know that we're looking at other vendors because there's some things, but just trying to look at opportunities. We've kind of wanted to, which isn't anything, but we're wanting to look at kind of streamlining some of our onboarding and offboarding. It seems kind of redundant where we can, digitize things in this world where they go here to apply, and then they go here instead of having to come here and get papers or print out papers. So just looking at stuff, but one of the big pluses was the advertising for government jobs. So we're looking into some stuff like that, but cost is going to matter. So, but we post on Indeed and our website.
So you're getting applications, they're just not,
We get the applications, a lot of them don't have CDL.
We've been getting a lot of
But we-
applications.
you are willing to send them to CDL school with some type of commitment, or do we need to do something to allow that to happen?
We hadn't done that. We've done that a couple of times in the past. There's a place down in Kentucky where they can do almost all of it online, I've been told. And I've been giving that information out when somebody calls and doesn't have a CDL. I've been giving them a phone number down there. We had one employee that did it through that system, and he did it all online except for one trip. He had to make down Kentucky and do the actual driving test. And it was cheaper than any of the others, so.
So do you believe if we had a program, something in writing, some type of process where we paid for them to get their CDL with a commitment that they'd stay 2 years or whatever the time frame you would decide, then that would be helpful for you to, so we
Well,
can,
we've already got that.
so you're offering that and they're not,
Well, we haven't really got the money to send somebody.
I think we have the money, and, I mean, there's areas in the
We-
highway fund where that could happen.
Well, it's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, I don't want that to be, a reason why somebody is not moving forward because they don't have the money to pay up front or whatever, because if we can get whatever you think the proper time frame is, couple years, at least commitment out of them, then I think it would
What we
pay
had
off.
before, we paid for it, and then they had to work for us for 2 years. And I think we've had two that we did that way
Yeah.
in the past, but this place, found out about this place in Kentucky, and it's about half the cost. And they can do it online and just one trip down there, so I've been telling people that, when
So you offer that to each one that
they,
you,
I give
when
them,
you,
give them the name and the phone number.
but I mean, you offer that with a commitment, we'll pay for it.
No, I don't.
What do we need to do to get that considered?
we have to have the money to pay for it.
I think we can accomplish that.
One of the biggest problems is they've all got.
I mean, all these
CDLs.
openings, there's money there. I mean, these openings have been for a while, so the money is there building up. So money is not the issue.
The overtime's being paid out of that also.
Well, I understand that, but there's
One
still
thing-
excess revenue there.
The big problem is, they're making less this year than they did last year. If you got a CDL license, you can go somewhere else and make 3 times as much money for what you can come out.
You mean the stipend, the bonus went away.
So we all bring home 5% less.
But a new person didn't have that bonus.
No, I know. But that's, our pay is low enough that they can go somewhere else and make about 2 to 3 times as much money with the
So-
CDL license.
I think we should get with the commissioners and see what needs to happen to get this. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think we need to have something in writing, some kind of system where if they, each one of them that are applying that you think is worthy to be hired needs to be offered that, where they can, where the county can pay with some type of commitment where they stay X amount, whatever you think is a reasonable time, or the commissioners and you guys work that out. Is that something you're willing to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll get with them if you guys are okay with that, just to see.
We've already got that.
If it's not being consistently used, then we don't really have it. You say we don't have money, so you're not offering it. So, there's an issue, there's a break in the system
They
here.
can go somewhere and get about half the cost and just one trip down there instead of having to go to school for 2 or 3 weeks every day. And driving school, they have to go every day for at least 2 weeks, sometimes longer.
So that would be half the cost for the county if we had that commitment. We could just send them there. We don't know that that's not the issue, that we're saying, hey, you gotta go pay up front and go
A
get
lot of
this
the
and do this.
applications I get, they are interested in it, the ones that's got CDLs, and when they find out what the pay is, well, that'd be a $9 or $10 an hour pay cut. Can't do that.
And what about the ones who are interested in getting the CDL but maybe don't have the money to pay up front?
Well, I don't know. I've been telling them about that down there. They can get it for half price,
That's different than the county's paying it if we have a
Yeah.
commitment. So I'd just like to look at that and get some kind of process in writing, but I don't know. If you guys,
We
Would
need to
consider
get pay up where, we need to get the pay where we're competitive with other jobs. And I'm sorry to say that, that's the way it is. If they're paid, making less this year, and, you can go somewhere else and make double the money, why would you come out there? That's the problem. I'm sorry to say that, that's the problem. I know.
there's different types of jobs, there's different types of things. There's people that are on the road, there's people that come home every night, there's people that work Monday through Friday, the's people, there's all kinds of things. So there's a lot of factors. It's not everybody just gets paid the same no matter what. That we can't do that. We're county government. We can't keep up with the highest paying whatever, if it's something totally
I'm not
different.
saying we need to keep up with the highest paying, but we need to try to keep up with the lowest paying. The state, a few years ago, we were making less than them, and we got a raise, and we were equal to or more than the state, and now they're $3 or $4 an hour higher than what market drivers get.
We can check into that.
I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's just the way it is. If you don't pay, you ain't gonna get qualified people. I hired one that I had to let go. He wasn't working out here a while back. Just because they got a CDL don't mean they're ever gonna be a good employee. And I didn't want to fire somebody in the shape we're in, but it was that or somebody was gonna get hurt.
If the council's okay with it, we can have that discussion with the commissioners about getting something in place. It's not gonna hurt anything.
Yes, it's not gonna hurt anything, but, yes.
I think at this point, why would we not look to find ways to help? And it should be consistently be offered.
I would love to address those issues, but
Well, the thing is, if they don't have a CDL already, the county pays for them to get one, and they do a 2-year commitment, they can't quit for 2 years without repaying the money. Is that correct, Steve?
Yes, that's what we got, yes.
It's not gonna solve all the problems, but it might help some.
Okay.
Okay,
Did you guys approve me hiring somebody?
Yeah.
what I do. I didn't know if you voted on it or not.
Right here.
We haven't voted on it,
Okay.
Haven't voted.
have we?
No, do you want to entertain I'll entertain a motion
I'll
for the
make-
operator position,
yeah, I'll make a motion to,
when there's 3 open right now,
4 now.
4 with this one.
Yes, this next door.
Okay,
I've
If-
got
if we
I've
approve
got
this,
8
okay.
employees out there,
okay,
So I'll make sure that's up to date tomorrow.
not counting the 2 foremen, or the operating manager, foreman,
so 10 with those,
and with me and Marilyn, it makes 12.
12, okay.
Do we need a second?
Who made the
I
motion?
made a motion.
Okay, sorry.
And I seconded.
Paul made the motion to allow Steve to advertise the operator position, second by David. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, the next 2 is for HFI grant. I want to explain this, that you guys actually, well, not all, yeah, all of you. In December of 2025, it was brought to the council for an additional appropriation in the amount of $23,550. Woo. And what this was they're asked for an additional appropriation. Come to find out, it wasn't actually asking for an additional appropriation, so you guys granted an additional appropriation in 2025. None of those monies was spent. The actual intention was to move appropriation from 2025 budget to 2026. So in working on the HFI report with Amanda, we were off 23, we're like, what it is 23,550 wasn't spent out of the 2025 budget. So that permission to spend appropriation needs to be appropriated in 2026. We just did it a month early, or it was requested a month early, too early, right, Amanda? Am I good?
You did it in December. Donnell did it in December instead of January.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Did you have something? No?
Is
Okay,
this-
sorry.
Is that the first HSI grant thing that we're looking at here? Because on the
Well, you
agenda,
add those 2 together.
those 2 together.
Yeah, it's on that paperwork.
Yeah, so the first one is for a school liaison for 21,840. And then the social security is in a separate line item of 1710.
Can we do these
Now,
together?
there's-
Yeah, you can do it together, that's fine. So 23, so if you approve both of them, that's fine. These two.
You want to do them together?
Yeah, that's
or-
fine. You can do them separate or together, doesn't matter. This one doesn't really matter.
I'll make a motion to do them together.
Motion made by David
It's a
to
total of 23,550.
approve.
Second that.
And down below here where you listed, that's what that money was budgeted for previously.
Previously, right.
I was looking at that, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, add it up, it equals.
Okay, motion made by David to approve the 23,550, second by Gail. All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? That's cleaned up.
And the last one, I think I sent you guys all an email on this, and I know that Kelly and I talked. The health department went to the commissioners and have got permission to put a sign out there. Bids were reviewed, multiple bids were done, so that's been approved. So now it comes to you guys to say, hey, can we spend the HFI money of $45,000 to appropriate this?
And it fits your criteria, it fits in with, states approved it, they're okay with it, yeah. Okay,
This is actually for a sign.
digital, like a digital sign.
Digital
Yeah, it's a
sign.
message board.
I just look at office supplies.
Well, we didn't know what.
Just like-
I mean, it was like, what do you, I don't know. What would you put it under?
But the explanation is down below.
Yard ornament, no.
Yeah, we'll put a description on the claim.
And I did have a question, are there any like recurring monthly fees or
Yeah.
anything that we'll have to pay?
So if they provide a program and a 5-year warranty,
Okay,
and that covers everything, as far as installation, and the only thing other than this sign that we are responsible for is the electricity from the building to the sign, and the quotes.
It's in.
I think I said that.
yeah, it's in there.
And what purpose does, I mean, what's going to be listed on this sign?
It is, so the way that I can meet the KPIs is it's an educational message board. So like on my side, on the environmental side, I have a lot of, it's septic week. How many people know about their septic system if they have one? Not many. And it gives me an opportunity to put, hey, if you want information, let me know. If there's a baby shower that's going on with the health department, then they can post that on there. If the whole building can use it, that's the great thing about it. And the information changes constantly, but we can also reach a different group of people. So, newspapers are kind of fallen by the wayside, and unfortunately, I love a good newspaper, but social media is kind of taking over for a great number of people, but not everybody. There's still a lot of people, and we have quite a bit of traffic with the school and things like that. So grandparents will see it, parents will see it, and we can provide that information to the public.
So it's at the Armory location?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like when you pull in, it'll be just out there at the edge on the side with the building. Would you like to see a picture of it?
No, I get the general idea, I just don't know how effective it's going to be and whether spending that amount of money for a sign for this purpose is what I would consider a good advertisement expense. The
So is
location
this-
is not that wonderful, but
You don't
for-
think
in general.
a lot of traffic for school, for the library, for, what is the building there in front of the Sheridan Center? And
Mhm.
I detect it.
So is this money sign specific or can it,
So
I mean, it's
this
a lot
is
of money,
money
seems
that
like.
was actually left from last year's HFI. And it was, like I questioned, what could we do with this money that could impact everyone? The biggest impact we could have. And everybody has, I guess, their own opinion, but I felt like this was a good use of monies to educate people that maybe don't get the social media. And it gives also multiple programs opportunities to advertise in the building, because we also have soil and water and EMA and now the conventions.
CPB.
CBB, yes. Mhm.
CBB, yes.
Mhm.
And everyone can use the board.
So
Must
if
be
there's
a
like
pretty nice sign.
It is, it is,
those LED signs are pretty expensive.
yeah.
I mean, for any size.
Yeah, even the smaller ones, size-wise, the size we got was the best bang for the buck. I mean, I'm a bargain shopper. So, I feel like we got a good price for what we received, and it's, like I said, hopefully a good asset to the community.
Anybody have any further questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Further discussion or
I'm gonna make a motion to approve it.
motion made to approve by Corey,
I'll second it.
second by Paul. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 I'll abstain.
Okay,
I oppose.
okay, so 411.
Corey, can you vote on that? Can you
I'm sure.
It's okay, okay.
I think
I
so.
don't have a financial statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, now if he owned the sign company, no. All right. That's all for that one. Next, amendment to county ordinance reimbursed to county by prisoners and detainees. Let me get that.
I'll have to help you.
Okay, I do have it. but Hold on one second, David, I know you have that. All right. I talked to Rod about this, and I'm gonna read it once in full, and then tonight we'll just consider it, and then we'll bring it back to the next meeting for another full reading and then a vote, if that's okay. And I did send this to you and Ron. I think Ron said it was okay. Did you have any questions about it, or did it look okay? I think it's the gist of what you were wanting to accomplish. So it'll just be ordinance number. We'll put the ordinance number, and it says ordinance to amend section number 33.110 for the reimbursement to the county by prisoner detainees. Whereas any person sentenced for a felony or misdemeanor subject to lawful detention in the county jail for more than 72 hours and not determined indigent or detained as a child subject to the jurisdiction of juvenile court shall reimburse the county per diem amount now and herefore fixed by the Perry County Council. And whereas that per diem amount has previously been fixed by the county council, which is multiplied by each day or part of the day that the person is lawfully detained under IC 353311.3 for more than 6 hours. And whereas the current per diem amount fixed shall be increased to reflect the recognized current per diem as reflected and recognized by state standards and shall be maintained in the county council non-reverting county prisoner reimbursement fund. And now therefore be it ordained by the county council of Perry County, Indiana as follows, that the per diem amount shall be increased from $30 a day to $42 a day. And then we'll put the date. So this is just to be considered at this meeting, and then we'll vote on it at the next meeting if that's okay. I'll send you this. I didn't send it to you because I didn't have the, he didn't have our names on there, so I added them just a while ago.
And this 30 going to the 42 is just to bring it up to the.
Just to bring it up to state standards, yeah. It's not that we're trying to be mean or anything. It's just for the costs, you know. All right. I don't think, yeah, we don't vote on it. Okay. Next, we have HTC abatements for 26, pay 27. And anybody have any questions about these? I looked these over. I mean, there's a few little discrepancies from, you know, what they stated on the SB1 to the actual. There's just a few employees less, but the salaries are much more. So it seems to be
And I don't think it's their
okay.
issue, is it? Are they still, they're still hiring out there, are they not? It's my understanding they're short of,
I mean, I don't know.
okay, well,
I'm not sure about that. I just have this information that they provided that, you know, it's like, okay, on the SB1, they said that they would hire, you know, have 492 employees of 489. So it's just a few short, and then they expected salaries to be 22,753,000, and it's 35,967,000. So to me, it seems like it's a positive, you know.
yes.
So down a few employees, significantly up in the salaries.
And the documentation here for those out in the public, talking about machine system lines, just what they provided us with is just a list of things that they're replacing, new lines that they're putting in, and the amount of investment they're putting in so that they can maintain employees. This is what they're
Does it
looking for.
say how many employees are local?
I
No,
don't think we get that
It's not
breakdown. Mm-mm. No, it just gives like a total. So, and do we need to do these individually per, we can do them all together? Okay. Does anybody have any?
All entities.
these will also have to be signed and everything
Yeah.
by you.
There's several, but I mean, they provided information, but we also pulled the SB ones and verified, so.
And they also have to file it, you know,
Yeah.
by a certain date to be compliant.
Right,
On May 15th.
right, and they're April 21st, so,
April 27th.
well, I mean, they signed it the 21st, but yeah, they're in compliance.
Yes.
So if there's no question about these, if we can take them all together,
It's all ATTC, so you
Okay.
just would be approving all ATTC things.
then I'll entertain a motion for that if we don't have to call them out specifically by the resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve the ATTC compliance statements.
Okay,
I'll second.
motion made by David to approve, second by Brad. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, and I'll get those, you have my copy this time? Or I can come in, if it's fine. Okay, and the last thing we have is a sheriff vehicle update. And, do you want to talk about it, or? Is that okay? Yeah, it's just a little difference in what we, the original situation. It's
Yeah.
not a big deal, really.
It's been a minute since we had an upfit, so when you take into consideration the upfit has a cost, that the equipment that they're upfitting has a cost. We did receive an invoice for just the equipment. So the way that the process, we questioned today, do we pay OBT? Do we pay these direct? Because it was addressed to the Bear County Sheriff's Office. So yeah, we are going to pay Safety Systems direct. And they have listed out in the invoice everything that was purchased for the upfits. And we're waiting on what sounds to be about like 6 brackets. And these are fabricated brackets that are a necessity in putting these cars together. As soon as those come in, and they were hopeful that they're going to be in soon, the process should be hurried along. So by the time we have the next meeting, we hope to have one of the new patrol cars in the parking lot for everybody to take a quick peek at. So that's kind of where we're at. And we've been in communication with Ohio Valley Towing and asking them to look over the costs of everything and to try to remain on budget or hopefully under budget. And so those talks have been had as well. We're hopeful that we can come in right at budget.
That'd be great.
Yes.
Okay, so the reason I added this on here is just because originally we had approved the Ohio Valley quote, but now it's kind of going to be broken down in the Ohio Valley labor and the equipment going to Safety Systems. So I would just like to have an approval for her to be able to pay Safety Systems, just because it's a difference in what we originally approved, so.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be Ohio Valley. That was my thought, was that we'd pay Ohio Valley. At the get-go, we would just pay them for everything.
Right.
And
That's where our original quote came from. So that was my understanding as well. And that's why I wanted you to reach out to Mr. Dolan and make sure that he agrees that we're not just getting these Safety Systems invoices, we pay him, and then he says, what are you doing? So, okay.
I'll make
and he confirmed that.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to make that adjustment to our.
I'm going to pay Safety Systems.
Yeah, out of that budgeted Ohio Valley quote for upfitting. A motion made by Brad, second by Gail. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks for your work on that, Eric and Sheriff. Next meeting is Thursday, June 25th, at 5 o'clock. That's our next regularly scheduled meeting. If nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Paul,
Second.
second by Gail. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned, sorry. Thank you all for coming.